Right, we have the last set of panels for today, which is about the future for all of us in the art department and in the filmmaking business. I'm going to let Brian dig deep on that. But I also just wanted to tell you guys that we have some provisions. We have some beer and some wine that's about to be trotted out. And we have, by the way, just let me backtrack. Everything that's been happening here today, all of this has been done by a concerted volunteer effort. Everybody here has been contributing things, their services, their thoughts, their brains, especially in D0 and Helix, their contribution is absolutely massive. But all of these special people that you've seen here today, they're here only for the love of the craft. And the sponsors that are here and the suppliers that are here, they've all been giving us things. So I just want to have a shout out to all of these different people here. AOTO, Pawnbrokers, Roscoe, Camo Asset Store, ELP, White Light, PAL, ASAP, Data Repro, Little Ginger, Lawal, SFL, Revolver, RDL, LGH, Sustainable Film, and RNC PMK, who the last one, thank you, is the one responsible for the beer.
And also Kays, who snuck in really late.
Yes, Kays, who snuck in really late and didn't make it on there. And if you don't know anything about the industry, that man does. It's like he knows for when there was trees growing out of Pinewood Studios. The Kay's Diary is the quintessential catch-all of everything you need to know about the industry. So get yourself in it and crack it open, because it's your biggest tool. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and hand over to the lovely Brian.
Thank you, Blair. I know earlier, Blair, you said you're not a presenter, but I think you're a natural. Very good, very good. And I'm a carpenter, by the way, so I'm not a presenter either, but I'm just doing my best. So for those who didn't hear earlier, my name's Brian. I'm from Indie Zero Studios. I'm one of the founders of Indie Zero Studios, along with my business partner, Sanjeev, who's now left with my kids, and Chloe, my business partner here. I hope you're having a great day. This last section is entitled Future, but it's as much really about the past and how we all got here. Ours is a story of inclusion, collaboration, and integration, and how, if you embrace this, it leads to success. We have 4 shared perspectives on this. Firstly, from Jason from WeWorking, then Julia Sanderson from ESA, who's an educator, and Chloe, the MD at Helix, and finally from me at Indie Zero Film Studios. To kick things off, I want to invite Jason from WeWorking. Him and his colleagues couldn't get a break in the industry when they wanted to start out, so they made it happen for themselves. I'll leave you to explain in your own words, Jason. So give a big round of applause for Jason, please. May's got the clicker. Sorry, May, you've got the clicker there for us? Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh, she's got it. So if you want something moved on.
All right, I'll just tell you when it's moved on. All right, hi everyone. Hope you're well. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for bringing me down. Unfortunately, my business partner and my colleague, Cordell Johnson, he couldn't be here today. So he just left me here to do this all by myself. So great. Very nervous, but we're going to get straight into it. So as Brian stated before, getting into the industry was very difficult for myself, and I can somewhat speak for Cordell as well. But we managed to make some ground in the industry. If we can start the presentation, I can somewhat get into it. If we can go to the next slide, please. So there's Cordell Johnson. He's the founder and CEO. There's myself, managing director. Excuse the picture. Let's move on to the next one. So the beginning, that's where we have to start. The beginning was very humble for me. I come from, at that time then, somewhat of a low working class background. We grew up in Battersea. It was very difficult for me. Saw a lot of things that perhaps I shouldn't have seen, but I was one to never let that get in the way of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to achieve. And so it was very tough. And one of the things that was always instilled in me from when I was young is if you want to go for something, go and do it. It doesn't matter of your race, whatever dispositions you have, you just got to fight for what you want. So essentially, that's what I'd done. If we go to the next one. And how it all started for me, if we can move forward again. There's Cordell Johnson. I could vaguely speak for him here. That's him there in the white jacket. As you can see, he's the only black male in that photo, hence the term inclusion. And that was on the Big Brother set. And if we go forward to the next one, you'll see some of me. So the one on the left, this one right here, I was actually in, where was I in? It was a long time ago. I was in Ghana. And I kind of wanted to get in the industry by doing something very innovative at the time and different. I did some work experience placements like, radio and hospital radio, community radio, but I kind of felt that that wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. So I found out about this program called Projects Abroad. I saved up all my money and I was able to go to Ghana and be like a broadcast journalist out there for like 6 months, where I interviewed local MPs. I worked on various local television shows. That was really great. So that's me there, pretending to be a cameraman. And then this picture here was when I actually, further along down the line in my career, I secured a role as a production assistant, I believe. This was a very long time ago. I just turned 36, so this was almost 15 years ago. And I was working on ITV Daybreak. Do you guys remember like GMTV and those kind of morning shows? Yeah, that show sort of replaced that one. So I worked on that one. And I also worked on Big Brother. I know Big Brother's back. And and I was at ITV for quite a while and I worked really hard. I became a studio floor manager and I had done some producing, so it was great. If we can go to the next one. So myself and Cordell, we shared somewhat of a similar journey, and how we actually got in touch was because of that journey. So myself and him worked in the industry for a very, very long time. And then I just got to a point where I kind of wanted to make a pivot and I wanted to make a change. So that I started to work for a design agency and I was a business development manager. So we all know what business development managers do. They work heavy in sales, they get new clients. It was a very tough job. Cordell was still freelancing, doing what he was doing. And then I saw him somewhat make some heavy grounds and do loads of podcasts. And, he started a small business and I was very interested in what he was doing from afar. And we did not actually know each other. So I just messaged him on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, what's going on? Can I help? Fellow ally here. And he was like, okay. He checked me out and I think he was somewhat impressed. And because of that similar, somewhat disposition we both had, we had a common ground and we came together and we thought, how can we be a part of this change? Not just for people that look like us or people that belong to marginalized groups, because I'm not really one to continually just keep talking about that. How do we create an industry that just gives the right people a chance? I'm not here to talk about just giving people that look like myself or the BAME community a chance. I want people to have a chance that can just do the job. Whether they look like me or you, that's what matters. So we both had the same vision, and then we somewhat started our business. So can we forward, please? Yep. So there's some findings that I came across as well. And I know the slide before that was saying that there was a severe lack of diversity, which there is somewhat still that today. It's still apparent, but back then it was a lot worse, and I could bore you guys with stories for days, but I'm not going to do that. And some of these stats here that I found was founded from Ofcom, and it just shows that in the year of 2021 and 2022, that the majority ethnic group holding these jobs were the white ethnic group, and 13% was, the minority ethnic group. And you can see the same even with the not disabled and disabled. So it does share across spectrums. It's not just with race. So for me, I'm all about how do we close that disparity? How do we make a change? Because I think collaborative working creates real cohesive impact for the future, and it creates more of a legacy with what you're doing, especially in the creative industry. Next slide, please. I want to ask you guys, well, not that you can answer back, but it's a question, somewhat rhetorical. How inclusive are we? For me, real inclusivity isn't about filling a quota or a metric. It's not about all of this tokenism stuff. It's about, like I said earlier, giving the right people the jobs and casting a wider net. There are many people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different racial groups that can do the same job as people from the dominant groups. And I think we have to ask ourselves, when we are inclusive and when we do invite them in these rooms, are they comfortable? Can they be their most authentic self? I think that's what really matters to me. I've felt in the past on many occasions where I've been asked, your hair looks nice. And it's like, okay. I've walked in the office and I've had people try to touch it. And my hair's no different from yours or yours or yours. We're all culturally different. We all have different sort of, styles and images and cultural looks and styles or whatever. I said that word again. But real inclusivity is making these people feel comfortable. It's not making them feel sub to anything. And that's kind of what I want to create. I think that's what needs to be further created in this industry because there's still the lack of that. The next slide, please. Here's some further reports that I found. Whoever put the year 2211 is going to get fired. I'll deal with that on Monday because that is ridiculous. But as you guys can see here, I mean, come on. But yeah, as you guys can see here, there's still somewhat of an issue. And I do believe a lot has changed in the industry. I'm not one to keep flogging a dead horse and keep talking about this subject because I wouldn't be here on the stage. And I know there's various other people that look like me and represent the community and groups I come from are doing very, very well. But it's still an issue. It's still there. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory. The red one, which is the white ethnic group, pretty much consume the majority of it. And in terms of who's getting promoted, that's also 82%. I was recently at a talk down at Google HQ at an event called Leaders in Sport. And there's some interesting findings that a lot of the talent, a lot of the black talent especially, make up 44%. And that's a lot of revenue. That's a lot of money. But a lot of the decision makers on the board don't look like myself or look like other people from marginalized groups. In fact, it's quite shocking that there's only 4% of people on that decision-making board. But there's a staggering 44% of talent that look like me. So my goal is also to, and the thing is kind of like two-sided, to be fair. It's to also encourage people in my community as well to work hard, persevere, not use excuses for any dispositions, because I don't believe anyone should hand you anything. So that's a conversation I often have with the workshops that we give to young people as well. But there's also another conversation that I want to have to you guys if you're in positions of power and influence, that I want to bring those sort of living room conversations that I've had with family and friends and bring it to you guys, because we can make real impact and change and actually better the lives of future generations of people that really just want a chance. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So essentially, this all led to the why. Next. We, myself and Cordell, we really wanted a space where we could thrive and, for lack of better words, just feel normal, feel like we were seen. Because oftenly I didn't feel that. I felt like I was just there because they needed to hire someone that looked like me. And oftenly, my skill set or intelligence was never really brought to the table. So that's why we created this. And I think so far we're doing quite well. Next, please. This is the Now. So the Now is we work in. We are a creative agency, and we do lots of stuff, things that I'm very proud of. We specialize in photography, videography, marketing strategies, and brand expansions for whether it be big businesses, networks, SMEs. They can come to us with an idea. We take them through the whole ideation phase. And if they want some assets, something for a promo or a content rollout for a film, we can do it all. Next, please. These are some of the clients that we've worked with over the past 2 years. It's been a hard graft. Some of them have been great, some not so great, but in this industry, you just take everything with a pinch of salt. Next. Thank you. One of the things that I'm very proud about is that we just didn't want to just be an agency, just trying to make as much money as we can and just working with all these cool brands. We actually wanted to give back to the community. We wanted to give to the people that we once were, because without that, I wouldn't really be doing this. I wouldn't be talking to you guys today. Next slide, please. So we give chances to the people we once were, as I said. So if you look there, we work on various, size sets from small to big. And oftenly, we get certain people from our workshops that, want a chance. Anyone that has particularly stood out, we give them their first paid position, whether it be just a work experience placement for the day, or whether in our gathered network, we can put them through to the right person, because everything in this business is all about who you know. Next, please. This is a picture from one of our workshops. That is actually in our content studio that we run and own in Brixton. I probably was away on that day because I cannot remember what that was for, but probably a photography Photoshop, because everyone looks pretty cool. Next. And yeah, this is a production workshop. So what we do is a lot of people within our community, whether it be, Lambeth, especially because that's where we reside, We are very well connected with other agencies. Schools and colleges, they often come to us and we often go to them, and we roll out our programs as well. So this is a Production 101 workshop where loads of media enthusiasts want to learn about the industry, and we teach them the various stages of production. And we actually have various specialists that come in, whether it be a well-known producer or director. Cordell, who I run the business with, has directed for many things for the BBC. So he often leads a lot of these. Next slide. So our work. So recently, to sort of anchor this conversation in, I think including people in art is very important. We worked with Birkenstock. Does any of you guys know the brand Birkenstock? Whoopsie, sorry. Of course, okay. So Birkenstock is a very cool brand. I've particularly never worn any of their stuff. But no. But they're somewhat of a heritage brand. They've been going on for like 200 years. And they came to us and they kind of wanted to tap into a new market, extend the demographics of, who they want to be interested in their products. And one of the things that we specialize in, of course, is, brand awareness and creating that market opportunity for, big businesses, whether they're old or new. So we said, okay, like, what is it that you would want to do? They said, well, we have this new corduroy pack collection, which is now out, and we want to create some commercial assets. And I said, okay, one way in which you could do that, obviously Black History Month and all that kind of stuff, is to maybe spotlight some of the pioneers within the local community in which, we're based in. People that have actually done real things for the community, have created change and caused a lot of impact for good. And that's what this campaign was about. So can we run the campaign?
My name is Ryan Hawaii, and I make clothes, art, and music. I'm very inspired by Jamaican culture, Cuban culture, mostly from my own research and growing up in Catford and just being around a lot of Jamaicans. Finding my own style is a matter of me being an amalgamation of my influences. I'd say a big pillar of my work is philosophy in general. I'm someone who likes to think a lot about life and existence. I try to take complex metaphysical and spiritual ideas and reduce them to simple symbols. The symbols I create can be interpreted in different ways. I love traditional things, tradition is important, but I'm also very much here for breaking new ground and paving the way and making new things.
Hello, my name is Solomon Smith and I am the founder of a homeless charity called Bricks and Soup Kitchen. Bricks and Soup Kitchen is a service that provides hot meals and hot drinks to the homeless and less fortunate families. It's very important to give back, especially for myself growing up and not really having much. I've always seen my parents give back. My parents are from Jamaica. Anytime you think of Jamaica, you think of food, smells, the heat, the people. Culture definitely impacts the work that I do at the Soup Kitchen. The food we cook, the music we play, are just the vibes that we bring. So what keeps me grounded is just knowing that the whole reason why I started this is to make change. Walking in my shoes sometimes could be hard, but literally soft around the edges. There's a lot of young people that look up to me, but I'm not a rapper. I'm just a guy that feeds the homeless.
So that's the campaign we've done with Birkenstock recently. Did you guys like it? A bit sad? Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you. Lastly, I always say this, it's not a marathon, it's a sprint. So we're still young. I often say to Cordell, he's like, oh, we need to be doing this and that. And I'm like, slow down, okay? Though we've been individually working hard for years, our company is still a baby. It's still yet to crawl, it's still yet to walk, it's still yet to run. So we will get there. But one thing I will say is I'm not here to just advocate for the marginalized groups. I'm just here to speak on behalf of people that would often be very intimidated to talk in such spaces like this. They probably wouldn't even want to walk in certain spaces like this. So if I have the platform, and I've been given the platform, which I'm very grateful for, to do that, hopefully you guys can take something away. And if there's ever a position that you're in, or if you ever have a platform to give someone that chance to make them feel comfortable and welcome, I hope you do that. And that's all from me. To be continued. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Excellent stuff. Well done. So next we've got Simon from the ESA, who are an educator based in Elstree. You ready there, Simon? Chris, sorry. Oh, we nearly called you Julia, so it could have been worse. So over to you. I think next slide is up for you.
Thank
There
you
you go,
so
mate.
much.
Well done.
Watcher, hi everybody. My name's Chris. This is Julia over here. We're sort of yin and yang. Julia does all the hard work but hates talking. I really like talking, so I'm doing this bit. I'm here from Elstree Screen Arts. I don't know if you've got the slide there. It's me. You gave me the power. Of course you did. Super. All right, so this is our organisation. We're based in Elstree, but many of you, I'm sure, will know where Elstree is. We're just there in the gateway into Hertfordshire, which is increasingly sort of the British Hollywood in terms of Sky being there, BBC being there, Warner Brothers being there, Elstree Studios being there, us being there. So it's a really lovely place to be, and we are part of the kind of, I suppose, Greater London creative sector. We were started in 2013. I've got a slide, but I just listened to it on my phone, and I think it's got a rather impressive jazz soundtrack that's not meant to be there. So if it now plays music at you, forgive me. No, it's going to behave itself. Very good. So this is our organisation. Elstree Screen Arts was opened in 2013. By the Hertfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership in association with Elstree Studios and University of Hertfordshire, because studios were just popping up absolutely everywhere, and the industry was growing faster than we could skill it. In 2013, they saw that there were going to be 12,000 jobs in the next 5 years, and indeed there were about 4,000 more than that. They are still estimating another 7,000 jobs in the next 5 years in the Hertfordshire and Greater London region, particularly in the crafts, technical disciplines and trades, all that kind of ancillary work that underpins film and TV. It's a workforce that is my age and older, and the young people coming through into those trades and crafts that underpin film and TV are not getting through at the speed they need to for the speed at which the industry is growing. So that's who we are. We do three things. We have an academy for 14 to 18-year-olds. 14-year-olds are with us studying the national curriculum, and then alongside it they do a sort of much more specific arts-based curriculum that a normal school wouldn't allow them to do. Screencraft's what I'm going to talk to you about mainly today in about 3 minutes, which is our 18 to 19 school leavers programme designed to get underrepresented young people straight into the industry. And then ESA Productions is our own little production company that we run out of our college, which takes briefs from client partners that ask us to make content for them, which we do, skilling our content production, our content creation entirely from young people. So it gives them a chance to get some credits, and we've worked with some pretty cool brands, actually not dissimilar to my colleague who was talking previously about WeWorking. So let me dive through this particularly to talk about Screencraft for a moment, if I may. We partnered up with Screen Skills in 2020 to become a UK Centre of Screen Excellence. What that means is we were BFI front funded. We now fund it entirely out of a work experience programme that's funded by the government. It's a traineeship for 18 to 19-year-olds that gives them a traineeship equivalent to foundation degree for free. Now this is really important because while I absolutely love my colleagues at places like the London Film School and the National Film and Television School, and I have good friends at the NFTS, it is worth saying that most people who get their opportunity to come into the industry through an organisation like the NFTS have ended up paying about 30 grand to do it. So when we talk about underrepresentation, it's worth pointing out that an awful lot of people that make it into the industry are able to do so either by taking out serious amounts of debt or by being in a fairly fortunate position to begin with. And an awful lot of people that want an opportunity and have the creative drive to be in this industry find quite a considerable block to them even being able to begin. And that's where the Screencraft traineeship comes into its own, because it is funded by the government, because it is a work-placed programme for an area of industry that is underskilled. So the skills shortage mean that the government give us about £3,400 for every student that come and do the traineeship with us. And it also means that because it is a fully funded traineeship, these young people are they have to do placements as part of the traineeship, but they are able to do those placements for free because they are fully funded students. So they do not need paying in the same way as they would do if they were on an apprenticeship. So it means that it's a great opportunity for hopefully you guys and a lot of the other partners we work with that I'll be talking about in a minute to provide on-job or on-set placements for young people. And of course, this is the moment when I need to say a very significant thank you to Chloe and Brian, Chloe from Helix 3D and Brian here at Indie Zero, who have got straight in at the ground level, like met us once and started offering placements, which we are just insanely grateful about. And we've had a couple of students come here along with a lot of our other placement providers. So if I quickly just show you what the screen skills provision is, the traineeship that we run. 6 pathways, the main technical pathways being down here at the bottom. These are, as you can see, in hair and makeup, in art direction, in production assistant, in costume wardrobe, in grip and editing. And the bit about my job I love the most as kind of the director of this wonderful ESA organisation is to do the myth busting. Please, please be assured we are not talking about level 2 BTEC in media studies from the 90s. This is not the kind of media education that schools were offering when I was at school. So our grip pathway, for example, is delivered by the Beck 2 Grip and Crane Technical Branch. These are working grips, key grips, coming on site and teaching young people with £90,000 worth of Panavision loan equipment, hire equipment, given to us for free for 18-year-olds to learn how to lay track, how to run dollies, how to crane and jib. So these are very, very capable young trainees once they've done a year with us on this traineeship program. So if you're worried that providing a placement for these kinds of young people is like sort of having some newbie on set that you have to babysit the whole time, actually they really can add value. I don't want to suggest these are real young people. So occasionally they're idiots. I'm not meaning to suggest for a moment they're all some sort of genius level savant here to just suddenly become the next Scorsese. They need showing the ropes, but they have been given very profound levels of training and they are quite technically highly capable in these 6 disciplines. So if you are either on a job or you're seeking to provide opportunities for young people to get that vital first step into meeting people in the industry, getting into some of those WhatsApp groups that means they get work in the industry, then please keep us in mind. There are other people that offer this as well, so I know that there are other screen academies. The education sector really did try to respond when the creative industries said that there's a skills shortage, and the quality of media training that's now going in to the education sector is significantly higher than it was in my day. And the sort of stuff I see our young people getting to do on set really, it takes my breath away very regularly, and they're significantly more skilled than I am. And if I told you some of the stories, I mean, people like Seb, who is now a professional drone operator for National Geographic, people like Gilead, who's now a camera operator for ITV. These are young people that have come through this program and found their way. George Hurley just finished on Paddington 3. I'm allowed to say that now, aren't I? That's covered in NDAs when you run this program. So these are the main things we do. I've got a quick little show reel to give you a kind of taste. What do I do now? Nope. Go? No, that doesn't work. All right, that would be a show reel. It might not be playing ball right now. So we'll go on. The placements we offer, the way it works is they come to us for 6 weeks and they get a full-time education for 6 weeks with a trained industry professional in whichever one of those 6 pipelines they're training in. And then basically from now, so we do a quick boot camp with them on what's rather snazzily called on-set etiquette. So we do that next week, and then basically they have 5 weeks between now and Christmas where they go out into placement. And like I say, some of them have come here, some get to go to Sky, some have gone to Strawberry Blonde, some are at Elstree Studios, others. Lots and lots of It Takes Two have taken some. Others have gone on to Good Morning Britain. So we've got a number of people that have come to the party to provide placements. They then come back to us again for a second 6 weeks of in-college tuition, and then they go back out on placement again, and then they graduate with what's called a craft skills certificate from Screen Skills around about Easter time, and then they stay and do a level 4, and by May they are level 4 qualified in creative practice technical production practice for the creative industries. So they're very capable young people. Thank you again so much for having us come here and tell you about it. I will say it's quite hard to get placements. Julia does an awful lot of work. Because of the freelance nature of our industry, you often find one person is a gateway to 10 others or 20 others, and very quickly you've got a Rolodeck of several hundred people providing placements to our students. So we're always looking for more people that can potentially provide placements for young people. And if you are in that game or you know people who are, it'd be really great if you could let them know that we generally have somewhere around 60 trainees. That's about 10 on each pathway, each one of those 6 pipelines every year, that needs somewhere around 8 weeks of placement every year. So it is quite a big ask, but it does mean that they go straight into industry and we respond to that skills gap, which is a real training agenda in our creative sector. The second one is in February, that runs through until April. If those timings could potentially align with when you guys are working on something and you might have capacity to take on 1 to 10 young people as trainees, please do keep us in mind. Thank you again, Brian, Chloe, very much for having us.
Thank you very much. Everyone needs a break, right? Remember, your first break? Yeah? Pick up the phone. Let the ESA know. So, introducing Chloe now, the MD of Helix Set Construction. Chloe there we go, she ran a rigging company on her own when she was 19 years old. The rest is history. Chloe, over to you. Thank you.
Do you know what? In hindsight, I'll tell you this. In hindsight, I should have done a slideshow and used that as a prompt, but I've done an old school speech and I'm just going to show reel some of our work as we do it. So, could you do that? Yeah. It's funny, I spend my days bossing everyone around and then now I'm up here. I'm actually really nervous. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm feeling really proud to be standing up here actually in this studio. We dreamt it and built it ourselves during a really dark time of COVID. So the fact that Brian, myself and our team managed to make something so positive and innovative out of something so hard is something I'm really proud of. And just to be standing here today, life's really hectic, especially in our games, so it's really nice to take a moment to reflect. I've been at Helix for the last 10 years and over that time delivered hundreds of projects all over the world. The art department is a critical component of filmmaking, which is often overlooked, despite the immense talent and hard work that goes into it, and everyone in this room is a part of it. I've been the managing director of Helix for just over a year and a half. When I first took on the role, I had some clear commercial goals, one of which being, post-COVID, throwing ourselves back further into the world of TV and film. We were in a place where we were doing multiple projects on a mid-sized level, and we wanted to take on larger scale projects that were more productive to run, whilst keeping on all our other work. This meant I had to expand my workforce, have a rejig of management. We joined the BFDG. I took on a full-time sales team, and we went from strength to strength. And that is because of the strong team I have around me and our core values. But being a female in this position, in this industry, can have its challenges. As Brian mentioned, I started my career running scaffolders and riggers, which is no mean feat, as I'm sure many of you can imagine. I'm working really hard on creating an environment where women are respected and empowered by their male counterparts. Not only if they are a bullshit MD like myself, but, you know, whatever their nature. And that also extends to inclusivity around race, sexuality, disabilities, that sometimes, or a lot of the time, create division in the construction environment. The success of Helix heavily relies on the loyalty and mutual respect I have with each and every one of my colleagues, regardless of gender. However, there is still not enough female faces in the workshops and on the ground, and we are working on it. Exactly, see, no respect. Having said that, I have been lucky enough to work with some incredible women over the last 10 years, namely Sanjeev Dowling, who was co-founder of Helix. She's not here anymore, is she? But she's an amazing woman. I was inspired by her long before I joined the firm, without whom we actually wouldn't be here today, would we? Izzy Collishaw, ride or die assistant, wouldn't be able to do my job without her. She started working with me when she was 19 and now she's bossing it upstairs. And Anna Stamper, who has left as well because she was exhausted, but she's been working tirelessly over there. She's one of the most talented scenic artists I've ever come across, amongst many other. So since joining the Guild and meeting the incredible powerhouse women, which make up a lot of the BFDG actually, namely Blair, Barnett, I have not only been inspired by them, but also it's really motivated me to take a more active role on mentoring the women of the future. And this is something I'm going to focus on in the coming months. We have a really strong relationship with the council, who have put us in contact with lots of young people in the area, making them aware we're here, offering apprenticeships. A lot of the young people from Thamesmead and in the surrounding areas actually don't even know these jobs exist. So we're really spending a lot of time getting to know them and explaining what we do and opening up the workshop for people to come and have a look round. ESA, we've been working closely with, and we'll hope to develop that moving forward. And we've been working with local schools as well to mentor young people that need that extra support and guidance. It's not unusual to hear a woman in my position to speak about feminism, but what I believe we need more of, and the key to breaking the ceiling, is to hear this narrative from a male voice as well. I think everyone's used to hearing girls talk about it, but I think the way forward is to bring our male colleagues into the conversation as well. Here at Helix, I've got 2 right-hand men, Frank, who's there. I've got Nick, who's in Saudi, running a huge pink Barbie job for me at the moment. I've got Pete, one of our top project managers. And I have complete support, I know, wherever I go. They're all feminists at heart. They just might not know it, I think. But the way they work, I know that they are. I know that I have complete loyalty from them, from both sides. But fundamentally, these values at Helix were born by Brian. I'm just carrying them on in our next chapter. He's always been a huge female advocate, supporter, forward thinker, and we're all very lucky for the opportunities he's presented with us with, and I especially am not going to waste them. Just want to thank everyone for being here today. I think you can all agree it's been a great success. I hope you found it valuable. I certainly have, and I hope you make some great connections. The bar's open after Brian's finished, so thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Chloe. Very good. The bar's actually open now, so don't hold back. Crack open a beer, wine, Prosecco, fill your boots. So we're nearly there. This is Chloe's slideshow, but I'm just going to carry it. It's fine. We'll carry on. So just kind of carrying on from Chloe, really. Indie Zero Film Studios was born out of the COVID crisis. We'd been warned by a bank manager the man was coming around. We were going to lose the site, and we came very, very close a couple of times. There will be a picture of me and my kids, actually. That might be the next one. Right, just hold there for a second. So that was actually right there. During COVID, there was nowhere else to go, and I thought, well, at least before it gets taken away and turned into a lilac warehouse, we might as well go and spread paint all over the place. The kids loved it. But Chloe, Sanjeev and I dug deep. We remortgaged, begged, borrowed, sold what we could, and we spent 3 months in a boardroom, pacing up and down, exploring every angle, every opportunity, analysing every risk. The chaotic void of COVID meant we were able to reimagine Helix anew and also envisage Indie Zero in the context of a utopian future workplace. We were like, what would perfection look like, knowing that we've worked in rat-infested, pigeon-infested warehouses for so long. So we started with a how not to build a film studio guide as our initial starting point. So what is Indie Zero Film Studios? We are an independently owned studio. We own this site by the skin of our teeth, but we do own it. We are going to be genuinely net zero studios. The technologies we need to make this happen are in place. There are new technologies in development which we'll experiment with over time. But the most important thing you need to build a genuinely net zero studio is the desire. The tech is all in place. You just need to want to do it. And we want to do it. We're going to build a studio which is a trailblazer for the wider creative industries in South and East London. We embrace all technology. We embrace all culture, and we embrace all people. We want Indie Zero to be a community-focused beacon for the creative production industries, where the next generation start their careers and go on to do great things. We aim to establish a world-class multidiscipline studio here in SE28, now just 20 minutes from Soho via the Elizabeth line, as some of you hopefully found out today. We're actually slightly closer to Soho than Ealing Studios, for example. And once we're redeveloped, our site will be almost exactly the same size as the expanded Ealing site to within a couple of 100 square feet. So we're not a small studio, not a massive studio, but we're as big as Ealing's going to be. This makes us big enough to cope with small and medium-sized features while also being agile, nimble and fleet-footed. especially when you have the expertise of partner companies on site like Helix Set Construction through the magic door over there. And we've got RDL Multimedia who are doing our cameras and editing and making us all look good today. Thank you. And also Little Ginger, Matthew over there on camera, ATI Creative upstairs, and Jamie, our in-house technologist. We're converting more space here to accommodate more industry expertise to strengthen our offer, build our beacon, and make it shine more and more brightly. We'll have a unique central space. It might be a good time to roll the next thing, please. Yeah, just let's roll it. We're nearly there. We're going to have a unique central space in which to collaborate, which is the atrium on our model. We'll see it on here in the video in a second. At the moment, we just call it the top mezzanine, but it's going to be the beating heart of our new studio development. It's key because there is currently no place in this industry for freelancers to meet or coalesce. Okay, we have a union, Bec2, that's great. There are pubs, and we can Zoom. But the biggest social lesson of COVID was how critical direct human connection is. Going to meet someone face-to-face is worth the time and effort. It's just not the same as Zoom. Zoom is like TV. Remember, telly, from the Latin, far away. We know that Zoom's efficient, but whoever made a breakthrough on Zoom, or made a joke work on Zoom, or fell in love on Zoom, anything is possible, right? It's just vanishingly rare. 90% of human communication is non-verbal. The eyebrows, a tiny curl, the glimmer of a smile in the eyes. Just a flicker, and the spark is lit. Love is found, connection is made, inspiration explodes, a tribe is formed, and a project is born. This can happen in 10 seconds. So why are Zoom calls always an hour long? The atrium will be, here we go, here's the atrium. This is where we're going, people, right? Will be the social beating heart of our site. Amazing things will go down there. I know it. Cutting to the chase, anyway, we've got planning permission to do this. We've completed our phase 1, which is building this with our own hard-earned money. Our next challenge is raising funds to carry out the whole redevelopment. It's the only downside of being independent is we don't have a sugar daddy up there in the sky somewhere. We don't have access to an international investment fund. The plus side to independence is that we can decide what happens here. A corporate studio just wouldn't do what we've done here today. They wouldn't even think about it. It wouldn't make sense to them. If anyone would like to join me for a drink and to learn more about our proposal, please meet me there afterwards. Just to wrap up, I want to thank you all for coming today. I hope it's been useful. I hope you've enjoyed it. A huge thank to Blair Barnett from the BFDG, and May Davis and Nina Lucia from the International Production Guild, who have masterminded everything that has happened here today from scratch. They've volunteered their time and drawn on their years of experience and contacts to make this happen. All ticket sales will be donated to charity, plus any donations people would like to make for food or coffee or drinks. Go ahead, just let Blair know. Fill your boots, there's no obligation. T-shirts too, and books. Blair's going to fill in the gaps of all the things I've missed afterwards. A huge thanks to the extreme generosity of the sponsors for this event, for all their time and kit they provided and for their expertise. ELP for the truss, lighting, PA system, plus their installation crew and expertise. That's a big spend, that's a big ask, and they've just did it at the drop of a hat without question. Richard Dalziel from RDL Multimedia, who I mentioned before, who's based here at Indie Zero. Great job, just walk downstairs. He's like, I could just go downstairs to work, it's amazing. But that's kind of the whole point of what we're doing here, is that you can arrive, have an idea, write a script, go downstairs, build a set, shoot it, edit it, send it out on the wire, as long as you've got enough food and beer in the building. LGH for rigging. A special thanks to Chloe, the Managing Director at Helix Set Construction, for supplying the stage, crew facilities, and several £1,000s in hard cash to pay for the food, the coffee, the toilets. Finally, a big thanks to Joe and the OTO team for supplying the beautiful 1.5mm high-resolution screen. None of this would have been possible without the kindness, professionalism, and generosity of all these sponsors. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you to all of our guests. I hope it's been useful. Let's have a beer, and thank you.